Welcome to the Zadzooks Happy Hour, a podcast exploring the latest in film, TV, games, toys, and more. And now, somewhere in a secret bunker outside of Washington, D.C., here are your hosts, 30-year veteran of pop culture and entertainment news for the Washington Times, Joseph Zadkowski, and pop culture, technology, and space aficionado, Todd Stowell.
What a bunch of jokers.
That's
all I got to say.
Speaking of the Joker, what did you think of the trailer for Joker?
I'm not impressed.
Really?
I'm not looking forward to that right now.
Really?
I need more. Why did you like it?
Oh, it was just something different.
How? Listen, of all the Jokers you've seen, do you even have a guess where he's going to rank? I mean, he's not going to fight Batman, right? In this movie. It's like an origin, even though we've seen the origin now like a half dozen times.
Well, this definitely is a period piece. It takes place, I think, in the 60s because all the cars that you see. His outfit is the outfit that, what's his name?
Cesar Romero?
Yeah, Cesar Romero wore in the TV show.
Yeah.
And I think it's a cross between like the TV show and a dark version of it.
Who's the director? Is it anybody?
Todd Phillips from The Hangover.
I don't know. I've just seen a lot of great Jokers in the history of.
I mean, who do you think is the greatest Joker?
You know,
I mean, I'm giving it to Heath Ledger because he basically like is just beyond nuts.
You know, I think Heath did a great job. But I also think Jack Nicholson was pretty cool.
Very different movies.
Very different movies,
it's
right.
Very, yeah, because,
right.
you know, Tim Burton's Batman is very out there.
Who do you think's gotten the most screen time?
Ooh.
I know who. Because remember, this character, he's never had like his own movie, right? So he's always like the secondary dude, and you never kind of see him. You see him in bursts.
I think it's definitely not Jared Leto because he's barely in Suicide Squad. Right. Are you talking about film or film and TV?
Film and TV.
I mean, Cesar Ramirez was in a lot of Batman.
What about Mark Hamill? In the Adventures of Batman.
If you're talking about voice only, then Mark Hamill.
I think he created the deepest character.
I think if you're talking about somebody acting it on the screen, it's got to be Heath
he had
Ledger,
the time,
right? I mean, because that Batman movie is like 2:30, like 2 hours and 40.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a long movie.
But there's not a lot of him in it. There is some.
More than any of the other ones.
There's maybe one big scene between him and Bruce Wayne, and
no, there's
between
more than
him
that.
and Batman.
There's more than that.
The one in the lockup.
You remember he goes to the party.
Yeah,
and he assaults.
Yeah.
He assaults Pat Leahy.
Yeah,
puts a knife to his throat.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Who's the best Batman?
Michael Keaton.
Yeah, I was gonna say that too. Isn't that sad?
Bale is a close second, but his iterations, like
there's like no personality.
No, and you know what? It is for me. It's the voice. Like there's just like Christian Bale is such a talented actor in that first movie where he doesn't have to put the voice on.
Right.
It's so exciting what he's doing.
Right.
And then by the third movie, he's down. His back is broken. It's just like there's nothing left of the guy.
Right.
And I mean, I know that's the angle that they were going for because they broke the Batman.
Right.
But the second movie is, I mean,
but he's overshadowed by Heath Ledger.
Right.
The whole film.
So of the Batman movies, which one is the best one?
Well, obviously, The Dark Knight.
The Dark Knight.
Yeah, there's no way around
And
that.
what's the second one? The second best?
I think the 1989 Batman.
See, for me, it's a tie between that one and Batman Begins. Because that origin story is just told beautifully.
Yep.
What's the worst one?
I think it's got to be Batman and Robin with George Clooney.
And Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty...
Well...
By the way, they're celebrating 80 years of Batman, just because they're looking for something to celebrate, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
So those 4K movies are coming out. We already got the Christopher Nolan ones, so now we're going to get in 4K the first 4. So I'll enjoy Batman. I'll enjoy Batman Returns, because I really thought Michelle Pfeiffer was Catwoman. She's like the definitive Catwoman.
What's the most forgettable Batman on film?
Are we counting Justice League?
Yes.
I think that's pretty forgettable.
Yeah, I think Affleck's Batman is the most forgettable.
Yeah.
You forget he played Batman.
Yeah.
I mean, I just have an issue with the fact that you had a very stellar trilogy, and in a very short period of time afterwards, they're back into another Batman again.
Right.
Like, I do feel like when they were making the standalone Batman movies, there was a good distance between them to let them breathe and be their own thing.
Right. Well, I'm just aggravated with Spider-Man, because I thought Sam Raimi's Spider-Man will stand the test of time, at least the first two.
With Tobey Maguire?
Arguably, Spider-Man 2 is probably one of the best Spider-Man
Yep.
movies ever that there's ever going to be.
No, I mean, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is probably the best Spider-Man movie there will ever be.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, it's good.
But if you're talking live action, that's a tough one to beat. Now,
the entire one in the middle that I can't even remember now, with Emma Stone as Gwen Stacy and
Andrew Garfield?
Yeah.
I mean, I will say that...
They were good, but I wasn't...
That it... In some ways, I think it's not a bad thing that they have a younger Spider-Man now.
Yeah. Yeah,
because,
absolutely.
I mean, Spider-Man is sort of this young, sort of like...
Pliable.
Yeah, like he's a kid.
String bean.
Yeah, I mean, that's how he starts out. He's a kid.
I'll go with that. So one more touch on the Joker. I know you don't watch Gotham, which is a fatal mistake for you. We're getting to the end of the show. There's 2 episodes left, and they've got the hell of a Joker's origin. They have done a fantastic job.
But see,
with
this is the thing that I think is the disconnect. For some reason, Paramount owns those shows, right? Like they're the ones who broadcast those shows.
Paramount?
Well, yeah, because like it's
Warner.
It's CW.
Isn't that owned by Warner?
Well, it's AOL Time Warner, or it could just be Time Warner now. But what doesn't make any sense to me is Supergirl has done a decent job on television.
I've enjoyed Supergirl. I've enjoyed The Flash immensely.
Even Smallville was big.
I loved Smallville.
But they cannot transition these properties to the big screen.
Right.
It just, I don't get it. That looks great, by the way.
I'm showing him the Cameron Monaghan's final version of the Joker and what's happening to him.
So somebody said that this Joker with Joaquin Phoenix is based on one of the graphic novels, but I don't remember which one. I'd have to go back.
I don't know that. I'd have to look that up.
That the story around it is like he's abused by his mother. There's a still photo of the 1960s Batmobile on a flatbed truck being brought in for a shoot. So Batman has to appear,
right,
at some point.
You hope,
but it's in the 60s.
If they actually are going to do what you're saying they're going to do, that would be awesome. But I don't know if they're going to do. I don't know if they're going to do it.
It'll be the hologram of Adam West rolling in.
But it could be a serious Adam West. It could be a guy in that costume, in that type of garb, as a serious Batman.
If they did a trilogy of a dark version of the 60s television show, like a real serious version of it that wasn't campy,
more
but like
urban crime,
but that they are wearing like the tights and everything and like driving around, it's just very serious.
Yeah, could be interesting.
I'd watch that. I'd watch it in a minute.
So that's what's interesting. I can't wait. Bummed about Gotham being at the end because they just really, the last 2 seasons have been insane.
Is it 5 seasons it's been out? Or more than that?
5.
Yeah.
So, but I think this is going to end up being like a definitive Joker.
It could be.
This is after him falling into the Ace Chemical vat, which has never been portrayed as a scarring issue.
No,
it's been more of a face bleaching, losing your mind kind of issue.
Right.
But we'll see. Yeah. It's going to be exciting.
Yeah. I mean,
a lot of Batman.
I just hope that they don't then turn around and release a Jared Leto Batman movie.
That would be ridiculous. What's the point?
His character was just so forgettable.
Right.
Like, it introduced Harley Quinn.
Right.
But it wasn't really needed. He could have been like a flashback.
Yeah, easily.
And I know he was mad because they cut a lot of his scenes out.
Right.
But, I mean, and that movie had its own problems anyway. So we'll see what The Suicide Squad comes out with when they do that.
Well, we know it's going to be better. James Gunn is pretty passionate about this kind of stuff.
James Gunn and Idris Elba?
Yeah,
I'm cool with that.
That's a win.
I'm cool with that. And what's the Torch? He's back.
The Torch? Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah.
Whatever his name was.
But is Harley Quinn's not back?
I think
yes,
she's
is she?
in it.
Okay,
yeah, I think
good.
the only one who's not returning is Will Smith.
Will Smith, right.
And I think it's because he has scheduling conflicts.
Yeah, like with what?
Bad Boys for Life.
Oh, who cares?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's awesome.
You got anything else you want to talk about with the Joker?
It's like you're egging me on.
No,
Did I miss something?
I'm just asking. You know there'll be a video game coming out.
You know what? They've stopped doing that kind of stuff.
Oh, really?
Do you remember in the heyday,
Oh.
every time a major kind of movie or sci-fi or comic book movie came out, there was always a video game adaptation.
It got
they don't do it anymore.
Well, and remember when they made that stupid 7-Up character into a game? The little Spot or whatever it was?
Yeah.
Like, that's how bad it was getting. And you know what? None of those games were good. None. Period.
If I go before Spider-Man last year that came out, which was a wonderful game, but it isn't necessarily based on a movie. It's kind of based. They don't do that. They don't waste that kind of money anymore.
No, because Batman Arkham was a standalone.
Right. They're never going to top that game. That was an amazing game.
Yeah, what's the last game that came out that was tied to a movie? It's been a while. The worst game I've ever played, not a movie game, was like an Olympics game for regular Nintendo, and it was awful.
What was it tied to? Anything?
No, there was the Winter Olympics.
Yeah, but wasn't it like
you had to use the
Luigi and?
Nope. It was like you had the pad on the floor that you had to run, and you jumped to do hurdles. It had like what's that thing where you ski and then you shoot?
Yeah, I don't know.
Whatever that is. It was just like decathlon. It was just the worst game I've ever played, and I don't know why you would make a video game out of that.
They actually made a game to The Fifth Element, which was pretty bad.
Oh, why?
Because they could.
Does it follow the movie?
Yeah, kind of, I think. But
was that when like you had to read all the text on the screen because you couldn't? They didn't have enough memory.
We were still backed in that. Yeah.
Oh, that's bad.
I think once you get past all the Lego games that came out tied to movies, like Harry Potter
But they did it the
DC
other way.
Universe and all that kind of stuff.
But remember, they were the other way. Those movies were out and established, and then they
came out and did the games. Yeah.
Which I think is kind of smart. Like, it would be different if you were watching Gotham and there was a game along with it.
Yeah.
Or like, whatever is out right now, Us.
Right.
Like, do you want a horror
video game?
Yeah, come on. No, nobody wants
survival horror.
Yeah, nobody wants that. Okay.
All right, we'll be right back.
All right.
Communities Digital News, built by the writers and editors that deliver the news 24 hours a day. Visit comdiginews.com. That's COMMDIGI news.com. And support the next evolution in news.
So what did you watch that you're so excited to talk about?
Stan and Ollie. Do you know anything about Laurel and Hardy?
Very little.
Right. I didn't really know much either. It's got one of your favorite actors in it. John C. Reilly is Oliver Hardy. Steve Coogan is Stan Laurel, and they both do a unbelievable job of bringing these guys to life.
So is John C. Reilly wearing a fat suit?
Yes.
I thought so.
I think like an Academy Award nominated makeup artist, prosthetics guy did it, but it's perfect.
Boy, that's a lot of makeup to go through every day, I bet.
He hated it, but he never complained. There's this extra in it, like a 30-minute interview with them on stage, and it was very good. It was well done because you got the director, and you got the two actors, and you got one of the actors who plays the wife of Oliver, and she is Moaning Myrtle. Do you remember Moaning Myrtle in the Harry Potter films? Mm-hmm. And she's got the same voice, so it's really hard to listen to. Anyway, it is a movie about not necessarily their career, but the latter part of their career
where they kind of hated each other, right?
Where they started to get on each other's nerves. But what they did was they did not get many films after a while when they went to talkies and so forth. So they went on a European tour of music halls, and they recreated a lot of their bits in the 50s, which is a bizarre thing. And it was mostly in Europe, and people were really enjoying them. So that's kind of cool. Yeah. I've never seen it from that perspective. So it's just not like one of these biopics where they're both born and then they meet each other and blah, 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 blah. So that's worth it. It's fun to watch those two guys interact with one another, especially recreating the bits, because the physicality's there and the facial expressions and the voice tones, it's all there. It's a good movie. It's a fun movie. It's a short movie.
What's the length? 97
minutes, so you're not there for like 2.5 hours waiting for something to happen.
Thank goodness.
And like I said, there's in the Blu-ray, there's like a 30-minute extra where they all sit down and talk about making the movie. And overall, if you're a fan of that genre and you're a fan of Laurel and Hardy, you definitely want to watch it.
Okay.
I enjoyed it.
Okay. What are you giving it for a rating?
I'll give it a B.
Okay.
A B.
Well, that's not bad, I suppose. Could be worse. I've got a film that you need to watch.
Okay.
It's on Netflix. Just came out 2 weeks ago, called The Highwaymen.
Yeah.
With Kevin Costner and Woody Harrelson. Those are the primary actors. Although, to give you a few others, we have Kathy Bates.
Oh, she's in it too?
John Carroll Lynch.
Is she Ma Barker?
Yeah.
How did I know that?
Yep. And John Carroll Lynch.
What's he?
John Carroll Lynch, I want to make sure that I get, he's Lee Simmons.
Now, who's that? An accomplice of theirs? Bonnie and Clyde?
No, he's, now you had to ask me, because there's so many of these guys.
I'm interested.
Let me tell you what he is.
He created the scariest clown in the history of television. He did. American Horror Story.
And also, he is in... what's the movie with Robert Downey Jr. and Jake Gyllenhaal where they're going after the guy?
You've so lost me.
It's the California murders in the 70s.
Zodiac?
The Zodiac
Killer.
He's the Zodiac
Killer.
Yeah. Wow. And he's terrifying in it.
He's all over the place.
Yeah, like he's terrifying.
He's pretty great.
And so I want to make sure I get this right. So Lee, he's a marshal. Okay, that's what I thought. I wanted to make sure. So Costner plays Frank Hammer, and Woody Harrelson plays Manny Galt, and they are two former Texas Rangers who have been brought in
to stop Bonnie and Clyde
by Ma Ferguson to stop Bonnie and Clyde.
Awesome.
Even though they have 10,000 men out and about looking for them, these two guys are the only ones who seem to be able to figure out where they're going.
But this is real.
This is a true story. Right. What's good about it is that these guys are pretty much down on their luck. That Ma Ferguson dismantled the Texas Rangers, and as soon as she left office, they were reinstated again, and they've been around ever since.
Okay.
So they're sort of given license to go and try to hunt Bonnie and Clyde down.
Perfect.
Meanwhile, they're showing just the true celebrity of Bonnie and Clyde and how so many people are just obsessed and in love with them.
Who plays Bonnie and Clyde?
You know, the funny thing
Nobodies?
is they're nobodies because you
never see
you
them.
don't see them until they're dead. Like
okay.
they're always blurry,
Right.
Or they're off from a distance.
Good idea.
It's not really about them.
Good.
So, as we all know, Bonnie and Clyde were mowed down in a rain of gunfire in their cars. They were ambushed by the Texas Rangers.
Yep.
For which these two legendary men were the primary ones to find them. They have a small band of guys with them, and they successfully kill Bonnie and Clyde. Is that really
Yeah.
John Carroll Lynch's? That's disgustingly terrifying. Look at this smile.
This comes off.
Oh, so he has no jaw?
The origin story is he took a shotgun and tried to blow his face off, and he didn't die. But the jaw came.
Oh, that's
Scariest clown ever. Thank you. Didn't mean to interrupt.
okay. Well,
I can't believe you didn't watch that. You're a big fan of that guy, aren't you?
I do like him.
Yeah.
I like him a lot. So back to this thing. I'm not going to give away too much because I do think...
Because we know the ending.
Well, and I just think you need to watch it.
Yeah.
The tone is very good. They are meant to play older guys who are sort of down on their luck and just kind of like listless without a job kind of thing. It's not really a buddy cop thing at all.
Right.
But what was really very cool is the last scene where they're towing the car with the bodies of Bonnie and Clyde into town in Louisiana. There is a crowd of maybe like 1,000 people who are surrounding the tow truck and the car, and they're trying to reach in and grab them, thinking that maybe they're still alive.
Cool.
And then in the as they close it out, they have black and white photos that were taken of the same exact scenes.
Nice.
Which is
perfect.
When you look at them side by side, they had the make and model of the car, where the bullets were. They had those accurate.
Perfect.
So they literally had like set depth charges in the door to blow them out in the right spot. They have their bodies positioned like the way in which they're photographed.
Yep.
So like as they're coming in, and then you have these photos. And then what I really liked was when they rolled the credits and they went through the cast, they put the real photo of the person on the screen, and next to it would say Kevin Costner. So you actually got to see
what the original looked like.
The original.
Great idea.
But they do show the 5 men who essentially are there to ambush and kill Bonnie and Clyde. And, of course, the FBI was heavily involved, and J. Edgar Hoover was heavily involved, but he ultimately didn't get it done. These Texas Rangers in Louisiana got it done, and they knew they had an idea that no one else did, that they were going to be there. They paid off a father of one of the guys in the gang to say, like, we're going to kill him one way or the other, and your kid can die or not.
Right.
So he got his kid out. He ratted out where they were, and he said, just wait here.
Amazing.
And they waited for him to come out, and Costner's character walks out, and he says, put your hands up. It's a very tense scene where they look like they're going to shoot at him. Everybody else comes out from behind the bushes, and they just unload.
Okay. Thanks for giving away the complete end of the movie.
Well, it's Bonnie and Clyde. If you don't know that, you're an idiot. But it's just done. It's suspenseful. And
Well, it better be, because you just gave away the end of the movie.
no, it's suspenseful in the way that, I mean, even though it's like Apollo 13, you know how it ends,
Yeah.
but you're still like, oh man,
You want to know how it got there.
This is crazy. Like what's about to happen here. These guys were very humble. They were offered like $1,000 to give an interview to the AP, and they turned it down and walked away, went back to their lives.
Yeah. When's that ever happened?
I mean, yeah, not in our lifetime.
No.
But I mean,
All right. Good.
it's
grade.
oh man, I got to give it
Really?
an A minus.
Okay.
Yeah, I know that the critics have not been kind to it. But
Why?
but I don't know, because they think it's like an old, like it's like a bunch of old geezers buddy cop movie, and I'm like, it is not. Like that's just who these guys were. Like you're grading the performance on just who the guys were. They're
the reality.
They're like guys in their late 50s who
Right.
took them down. They're
Yeah.
older guys.
Should be celebrated.
especially in the 40s. Like
Right.
That's kind of at the height of life expectancy.
That's right.
You know, like these guys, like the guy that Costner played died in 55. Like they didn't live much longer than that. So they were old.
That's good.
And they're just like they're crapping on their performances, and I'm like, well, it's not a performance when it's real life. And the fact that they spent so much time using the source material, the photographs, and recreating them shot like so that what you're looking at matches the angle of the photograph. That's pretty
cool.
special. Yeah.
Who's that?
I have no idea.
Really?
No.
Well, that's going to be our final topic.
Okay.
And I think you know who it is. And I can't believe this guy's actually done this.
It's not.
Do you know who this guy is now?
No.
Isn't he the guy that's doing now what's going to be your favorite zombie movie?
Oh, dude. We got to talk about that. I don't know who this guy is, but he came out of nowhere. And he has decided to...
Isn't this the guy, Jim Jarmusch?
Is it listed underneath
No.
like his director credits?
What's the name of this movie?
Dude, I don't even know. It came out and it was so random that I was shocked.
All right, tell people what's going on, and then I'll look up who this guy is. If this
Bill
is
Murray and Adam Driver are cops shooting zombies.
in a small town.
In a small town. And Bill Murray's got a shotgun with Adam Driver.
But there's other people in this.
Doesn't matter. It's a Bill Murray zombie movie.
The dead don't die.
The dead don't die. And I came out of nowhere. The trailer came out of nowhere.
That's being directed by this guy.
By that guy. I'd have no idea who that guy is. Not a clue.
Iggy Pop is a zombie. I'm in for that.
I can't.
Carroll Kane is a zombie. Tom Waits is a zombie.
Yeah, Tilda Swinton.
Danny Glover's in the movie.
Steve Buscemi is like a really old deputy.
Tilda Swinton is like she's a morgue worker who happens to know how to use a sword.
Yeah. Yeah, and Bill Murray's like the chief of police. How can it like?
Had you heard anything about this movie?
Not a thing. Has anyone heard anything about this movie up until they released the trailer? Doubt it.
Now, I don't have a Star Wars trailer, but I have this movie trailer.
And you know
how does
what?
that even happen? And it's coming out in June.
And you know what? That first trailer was satisfying.
It was.
It's satisfying for one of two reasons.
Bizarro.
It's either going to be the greatest movie that you could possibly hope for, or it's going to be a train wreck. And either way, you want to go watch it.
3 bespectacled police officers and a strange Scottish morgue expert must band together to defeat the undead.
Yep.
It's been done a million times, but I can't wait to watch this.
But it's Bill Murray with a shotgun.
Right. And a low-key personality.
So I'm trying to think about this. When has Bill Murray ever like wielded a weapon?
Well, wasn't a proton pack and a wand considered a weapon?
Well, it's a fictional weapon. I mean, obviously in Caddyshack he had dynamite, but like he's not a violent guy in any of his movies.
Do you think they're going to let him Tarantino in this one?
I hope
really
so.
Go all out.
I mean, you see him shoot a shotgun at somebody.
I can't wait.
Like,
I can't believe they put this together.
This is just.
Was this like the industry's best kept secret, or are we just totally obtuse when it comes to this stuff?
I don't know because like it's on his IMDb page, but there was nothing known about it.
July 2018, it was announced.
To who? I mean,
Very
then again, he's a pretty quiet guy. You know, like, and I'm surprised they got him for this movie since usually you have to call his 800 number and leave a voicemail and maybe he'll call you back.
He must be, he's buddies with this Jim Jarmusch because wasn't he in Broken Flowers?
Yes.
This is a film that was, so there you go.
Mm-hmm.
That's the tie. Jim has done he's done weird movies. Down by Law, Mystery Train, Dead Man, Ghost Dog, Coffee and Cigarettes, Broken Flowers. So, Patterson. What was Patterson? Was Patterson that... No.
I don't know Patterson.
Adam Driver is a bus driver and poet.
Yeah.
Bizarre no. Okay.
All I know is Adam Driver was amazing in Black Klansman. I could care less about his role in Star Wars more than I could in the fact that the dude is just a very talented, wide-ranging actor who happens to be a veteran.
Right.
So,
fine with me.
Good for him. And it's Bill Murray, an old police chief, shooting shotguns.
Any thoughts on the Vince Vaughn, Mel Gibson cop drama? Have you heard of that?
I mean, I've heard of it.
I heard that's pretty good, too. But
is it a dramedy?
No, I think it's more drama.
So
hardcore drama.
So Vince Vaughn's going to go completely straight.
I think he did in this one.
Okay.
So,
you know, for how terrible of a person Mel Gibson is, his stuff's good.
Yeah. Okay. He had a couple of hiccups. How is he so terrible?
A couple.
Compare him to Alec Baldwin. Who would you hang out with? I'd hang out with Mel.
Neither of them.
I'd hang out with Mel just because he did that Daddy movie.
Well, Daddy's Home?
No, the one with the three older dads and the 3 younger dads.
Yeah, Daddy's Home.
Is that called Daddy's Home?
It's the Mark Wahlberg movie.
Yeah, what's the sequel?
Daddy's Home 2.
It is not Daddy's Home 2, is it?
Yes,
it's like
it is.
Old Daddy's Home.
No, it really isn't.
That's fine.
It's Daddy's Home 2. Because you remember he's Mark Wahlberg's father?
Got it. He made me really laugh in that movie.
Well, he was hilarious in Lethal Weapon.
Yeah.
And you know what? If they're going to make another Bad Boys movie, I could take another Lethal Weapon movie.
Oh.
In a heartbeat.
That'd be hysterical.
I mean, I don't know how Danny Glover could do it anymore. He's doing movies where like they're planning on dying.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Anywho, that's my random thought.
Go watch this movie, Highwaymen.
All right.
You'll like it.
I will. I got to get through The Americans. I only got another 5.5 seasons.
And then I've got Glass.
Glass is coming next week.
Yep.
We'll talk about that.
Yep. And
Vice.
Vice I've watched.
We'll talk about that next week, too.
Yep. When are you diving in that?
Tonight. As soon as I get out of here.
I think you'll like it.
Okay.
It's just a little long. But
I don't care.
I liked it.
What is it? Is it a dramedy? Is it a satirical look at Dick Cheney's life?
No, it's a cynical look at Dick Cheney.
Cynic's a better word. I'm stealing that. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, I mean, it's not wrong. It actually, what it does depict really well.
But what makes me worried, and I haven't seen the movie yet, is because it's cynical in an Oliver Stone way, how do you know it's true and not true?
I mean, the stuff that they talk about is pretty well known. The biggest thing that
don't give it away.
That you'll be surprised about is what he does to sort of sacrifice his daughter, who's openly gay.
Okay.
And how he sort of like...
Is she on The View now or something?
Mm-hmm. And how he throws her under the bus.
Okay.
I didn't really know that, but I did and I didn't, but they do dig into it. He's pretty ruthless. And then again, so was his wife, played by Amy Adams. They're pretty terrible people. The way that, I mean, they're terrible politicians, but they're all terrible politicians.
Yeah.
It's just, this is focused on one. And when he shoots that guy in the face...
Can't wait.
It's only on the screen for like 10 seconds.
All right, you said enough.
All right.
Don't spoil it.
Well,
we'll see you next week.
Yep.
Shazam.
95%. 95% Rotten Tomatoes.
There you go.
Take it.
Still not seeing it.